Hello everyone, today we are solving an LeetCode question 169 majority elements. Given an array nums of size and return the majority element. What is majority element? It is nothing but an element which appears more than n by 2 times, where n is the size of an array. Let's see one example what is majority element. Let's suppose we have an array 3 2 3. What is the majority element that appears more than n by 2 times? Here n is 3. Okay, so what is n by 2? N by 2 is nothing but 3 divided by 2, which is 1 for integer variable, not float. Okay, so in this array, which element occurs more than one time, not including only one, just say एक बार से ज़्यादा कौन आ रहा है, तो विच एज वी सी कि 3 एक ऐसा एलिमेंट है जो एक बार से ज़्यादा आ रहा है, नहीं तो 1 ऐसे तो 2 भी आ रहा है अगर हम 1 से कंपेयर करें. दैट इज़ वाई वी नीड टू चेक फॉर ग्रेटर देन 1. ओके, लेट्स कोड फॉर दिस. ओके, what we do for this, we take an map to keep track how many times an element occur. Let's suppose for 3, initially 3 occurs at one time. Okay, ठीक है. When you iterate for second time, it will create one more and say im occurs one time. When you occur 3 again, it will increase the size of these elements. So in this ordered map, 3 how much time it occurs? That is 2, which is greater than n by 2. So we just return these value. For one more example for this, let's suppose we check for this. Okay, create a map, say hey im2, initially you here and say im occurs 1, iterate next. Okay, you हो गया 2. अब when you occurs third, this third, create one more, say im occur one time, at the next 2 time, 3 time, it will also increase. Now the iterator will here increase the value of, okay, now here increase the value. Okay, so we say in this ordered map 2 appears 4 times and 1 appears 3 times. Okay, what is n by 2 for this array? It is like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So 7 divided by 2, that is 3. So which element is appears more than 3 times? As we see, it is this, which is, so we return the value of this element, that is 2. So start writing this code. Okay, we take an unordered map. We have one function having an vector nums. Okay, what should you do now? Right now you find the size of an vector, say nums dot size. Okay, at next what should you create? Say I am creating one more unordered map. With key and value, name as m something, or so we just start iterating for loop for auto name num in this vector. What this will done, it will go one by one in vector and take the value and considered as this. Okay, so what we do for this, we just increment the key, create an key for like map. It say this is the name of this. So map of what? Say num. This is an element like 1 2, and can you increment the value for this, which means it creates like if you have a vector 2 1, and you are here. So num first is 2, and you say hey map, what is your key is 2. कैन यू इस की क्या वैल्यू हो जाए, इंक्रीमेंट 0 से 1 हो जाए. इनिशियली ये 0 होते हैं सब, ठीक है. ओके, सो दिस लूप कीप track all the element how many times they occur. Okay, what was our next step? We need to check finding an value which is greater than n by 2, and then we just return the first element. How to check for this? Just creating one more loop, taking for loop auto it in map. Okay, whenever if how to check for the second value, just say hey it dot second, if the it dot second is greater than n by 2, you just say I am the value. You from here you just return the value key which is calling by like it dot first. If they will not find in this map, it means they will not exist. Close the for loop and just return -1 and close the function loop. This is all about this code. Can you analyze the time complexity and space complexity? Let's say what is the time they take. It will run for n time, okay, and this will also run for approximately n by 2. So n plus n by 2, approximately order of n time it will run. What about space? So I am taking one map which will approximately taking n by 2 space, but for approx it will take n, so which is not good. So we need to eliminate this and wants to space order of 1. We need to convert this logic. How do we approach this? Okay, start next optimal solution for this solution. Okay, here we are trying some logic which is nothing but we iterate one by one and count the variable how many times they occur. Let's suppose initializing and counter. See, start iterating. If whenever the counter is 1, say I am increment by 1. Okay, go to next. If the element is still the same, you incremented. If the element is different, can you decrement? What is the logic behind this? Is nothing but like, okay, how many times they occur? 2 times. Okay, whenever the next element occur, can you just decrement? So how many times 1 occur? 1, 2, 3. It will cancel out these 3 values. Which element is left off is going to be our answer, and we also check at later is this a valid point or not. Take a dry run for this code. First you lick this code. What we are trying to do, first we're taking an n size, okay, counter to keep track how many time which element appears more than n by 2 times, and taking an element this keep track we need to increment or decrement the value of counter. Okay, start the dry run for this code. Okay, say initialize and counter initialize one counter equals to 0 initially, and element, okay, start iterating. I am the value 2. What would you do if counter double equals to 0? Can you just say, hey counter, your value goes to be the 1, and what we take the element, we just say nums of I. Okay, what is the next loop? If so this loop complete and we go to the next for loop, this will go here. If else if element is still the same, can you just increment the value of counter? Okay, counter will be plus plus. Initially they are 1, and when we here again 1 2 sorry. Okay, counter will move. What we do right now, is c equals to 0? No. Is element what we are taking is 2? Is the num of I which is 1? No. तो ये भी नहीं चलेगा. अब हमें क्या करना चाहिए, एक एल्स कंडीशन लगाते हैं लास्ट, जो कि होगी कि हे आई एम क्रिएटिंग, कैन यू जस्ट डिक्रीमेंट योर वैल्यू, काउंटर विल बी माइनस माइनस. ओके, इट गोज टू 1. ठीक है. अगेन फॉर नेक्स्ट आई एम 1, which is not this condition, not this else if condition. Go again the else, which is decrement the value of counter, again 0. At this moment we think 1 can also be a part of the solution, so we again say hey counter, you initialize your value to 1. Okay, just erase this. Okay, I am initializing an value 1 and element should be 1 from this. Start iterating. Again 2 will come in, so this loop not run. C is not 0, else if also not run because element is not equals to the 2. Again counter will decremented to 0 whenever C, again the next loop is 2. We again initialize the element as 2. Okay, this will incremented 1. At last counter has an value and element should be 2. Okay, we find that element, but we need to check is this correct or not. How do you check? Just take and one more loop for int I equals to 0, semicolon I lesser than n, I will be plus plus, and before this say initializing one more counter to 0, reinitialize and check how many time if element what in last is 2. अगर w equals 2 है हमारे nums of I, which means we are keep tracking how many time they occur. Can just say count plus plus. At the end counter will be 4. At last we just check if counter is greater than n by 2, we just return element el. This is all about this code. Starting reinitializing and value, keep tracking for finding an element, check if the shorted element is the majority element or not. At the end just return if the majority element exists, and at end return -1 if it is not exist. What is the time complexity and space complexity? Can you just say time is order of n or say 2n, but it is uh, number can just ignore this, say order of n. What about space? Is we use any extra space? No. So that space is order of n. That is all about an optimal solution for this solution. Okay. Thanks.